Today we have Caitlin Slyon. She is the Executive Director of Meals on Wheels, and she is our tomorrow outgoing board chair. So we'll learn a little bit about that too. But Caitlin, why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Caitlin. Oh gosh, I should turn down the volume on my computer.
She's busy.
Caitlin, and as Melissa said, I'm the Executive Director at Meals on Wheels Diablo Region, and we are a nonprofit that serves seniors throughout the county. And a little bit about myself. Well, I've been in the nonprofit world almost my entire career, and was lucky enough to get to work at the Food Bank of Contra Costa and Solano for almost 12 years. I started out as a temp and left there as program director. And it was a great experience, a great organization, and have been really excited to come to Meals on Wheels Diablo Region as this organization grows and continues to do amazing things. Just in the little over 5 months I've been here, it's been pretty awesome. And I live in Walnut Creek, but have been involved in the chamber for quite a while now. See, I'm going into my fourth year, I think.
I think so.
Third or fourth year. Yeah, fourth year. And have really loved being involved in the chamber and in the Concord community. You know, at the food bank worked in Concord for a long time. So it's a great community, and love working with Melissa and Amanda and Kevin and William and the whole crew at the chamber. So it's been fun. Grew up in Albany, so I grew up on the other side of the hills, but went to Davis. You don't want my whole life story, but I'm an Aggie.
What did you study?
Important. I studied Latin American history and Spanish.
Okay, so fun fact, I know this only because I've known you for a while. You actually taught English in Mexico.
I did.
What was that like?
It was a blast. It was so much fun. It was the best thing that you could do after graduating college.
And how long were you there?
I was there for about a year. I was in a little town outside Puebla called Cholula. Everybody says like the hot sauce, but they don't use that hot sauce in Cholula. I never saw it. But yeah, it was great. I had studied abroad in college, I lived in Madrid for about 6 months, and I really wanted to be able to travel, but not be completely broke. So I knew, you know, I didn't have the luxury of being able to just travel and take a really long vacation. So I needed to get a job, and I always loved working with kids and had a lot of experience working with kids. And so I taught English there in a little Montessori school, and I taught 1st through 3rd grade, and it was really fun.
That's such a rewarding thing to do too.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was roommates with a teacher who she taught preschool through kindergarten, and she was from Cleveland, and so we had a blast. And you know, you have a teacher's schedule, so we got, you know, spring break, and
you had some free time.
Yeah, we had some free time to travel around Mexico, and got to go to Acapulco and all throughout Chiapas, and really good food, really great people.
That's such a cool experience.
Yeah, one of the best countries out there, in my opinion.
Well, you can tell from the get-go, you've definitely given back to the community worldwide at this point, too.
It might be a little grandiose, but I'll take it.
You're like, I'll take it. So what exactly does Meals on Wheels do, and how do you serve the community?
So we're an organization that provides an array of different services that are really focused on keeping seniors healthy and independent for as long as possible. And we do that, the main way that people know about is with home delivered meals. And so we have, we deliver meals to homebound seniors all throughout Central and East Contra Costa County. And then we have an array of other services, like a fall prevention program where we'll actually go into the home and do home safety modifications. So we'll install grab bars and shower chairs and other, railings up the stairwell so that we help prevent falls, because falls are the main reason that seniors end up in the hospital. So we really want to avoid that as much as possible. We do exercise classes, healthy cooking classes. We have a care management department that provides case management, helps connect people to other services, as well as helping them avoid evictions and stay in housing, get access to technology if they don't have it. So a whole host of things that we do here at Meals on Wheels Diablo Region. And that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to get involved with this organization, because it's so much more than a meal that we provide. It's a wellness check. It's a companionship. We have a whole program called Friendly Visitors, where we have volunteers that get matched with seniors, and they visit every couple weeks and spend time together, and really just try to prevent the social isolation that so many seniors face in normal times, and it's even worse right now with COVID. So I think to the extent that we are able to provide, we're really able to serve the whole person and the whole senior, and make sure that those that are often forgotten in our community are provided the services they need to be happy and healthy and independent.
And how many seniors do you serve in the community?
We serve about 6,000 a year, and that's through all of our different services. And that's, of course, gone up quite significantly with COVID. Our just our meal delivery services have gone up by more than 40%.
Wow! Just
since February. So it's been a little bit of a wild ride, but I have the best staff. They
I can imagine.
Leaps and bounds, just have really stepped up and gone above and beyond to provide for those most in need.
Well, you've really had to increase your operations in that amount of time too.
And change it all. We were used to going 5 days a week and providing a hot meal, and we wanted to reduce that contact that volunteers have with clients, to really protect. I mean, we're serving the population most vulnerable, for COVID. So we had to really rethink how we could be, rework things to be more careful and to reduce contact. So now we're doing a weekly delivery of frozen meals, and then calling on the days that we're not there delivering, because we know that daily wellness check is a big piece too. It's not just the nutrition.
Now, you also mentioned, there's such an increase right now, especially with COVID, and basically from the beginning of Shelter in Place, Meals on Wheels has partnered very closely with the City of Concord for the Neighbor Express and Concord Cares program. So can you talk about how that formed and how you shifted operations so quickly to be able to do that?
Yes. So first of all, main credit for that goes to the Chamber, because if it weren't for the relationships that I had with Mayor McGallion, and which was 100% because of the Chamber, and Dominic Maki over at Mount Diablo Unified School District, it wouldn't have happened. I mean, I watched your Instagram live with Mayor McGallion, and he's right. If you don't have those personal relationships, I mean, he was able to pick up the phone and give me a call, and we were able to put something together in a matter of days. So what we're doing with the Neighbor Express program is we are delivering to seniors in Concord every day, and we're providing them meals that are provided through Mount Diablo Unified School District. So they're putting together all the meals, they have them ready, and then we have volunteers that pick those up and deliver. And then we're also, the other component of that program is a friendly helper program. So we have seniors that just need an errand run for them. Understandably, they're afraid to go out of the house, and as they should be, as we all kind of are right now. And they just need somebody to go to the pharmacy for them or go grocery shopping. So we're able to match volunteers with seniors that need an errand run. And so it's been a great program. The feedback we get is just heartwarming.
That's great. I mean, for you to increase 40% and do all of that daily and manage all of that, and I know it's not easy, especially you starting back in January. You haven't been
Yeah.
in it for a long time, but you really shifted everything and you
Yeah.
just went right for it.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky to have those relationships, you know, that I have been working in the community for a while, so that helps. At least I'm not having to learn everybody's
Right.
names and everything from scratch. But you know, also having really dedicated um, community partners and city partners like the city of Concord has been invaluable. And really, it all comes down to my staff and volunteers.
Yeah.
You know, my staff and volunteers, they really stepped up. I mean, we thought, because the majority of our volunteer population is a little older, and we were worried about their health and thought that a lot of them would be, you know, calling to say they couldn't deliver, couldn't drive anymore.
Right.
And that's not the case at all. They're so dedicated, and we're really, really lucky to have them.
Are you still looking for volunteers?
You know, we have been really lucky to have an outpouring of support, and we're pretty good on volunteers right now. We do always need volunteers to drive in East Contra Costa, so like Pittsburgh and Antioch. So that's always a need if people want to reach out.
Are there any other volunteer opportunities besides maybe the driving, maybe not right now, but later on, that people can volunteer for?
Yes, absolutely. People can always be a friendly helper, or a friendly visitor is something we always need. We had to shift all of that because of COVID to,
Right.
instead of in-person visits, to over the phone. But that is something that, you know, we're always looking for volunteers who are willing to do that, want to have a meaningful relationship with a senior in their community. So that's always good too.
Great.
We also
Denise?
operate,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
We also operate 6 cafes, so they're congregate feeding sites.
Okay.
And so a lot of times we need volunteers at those locations too to help serve a meal. Obviously, we're not doing that right now,
Right,
but
right.
all of those folks are getting home delivered meals.
So Denise said, I just started Meals on Wheels service for my 87-year-old aunt. Is an absolute godsend for our family. She's able to live independently with this help.
That's
So, I mean,
wonderful to hear.
that's proof right there that what you guys do is outstanding and so helpful to the community.
Oh, that's great. I love hearing stories like that, because, you know, it just means that all of our work and all of the time we all spend is worth it. So I'm really glad to
Absolutely.
hear that.
So you are a young professional. What's it like running an entire
Debatable.
organization? You are not.
Well, I'm an older millennial. It depends on which organization, you know, different companies put the cutoffs
Right.
at different times. But I was born in 1984, so I'm an elderly millennial, if you will.
A senior millennial.
A senior millennial. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. I definitely, I know I'm young for the role that I'm in, and am conscious of that. But it definitely feels like an organization where we're all different ages and everybody gets along really well. And you know, we all respect each other's different upbringing and backgrounds and ages, and age has a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really great work environment. And but you know, it is something that there are times when I'm the youngest person in the room, and I have to remember that when, you know, it helps to, you know, wear heels and dress a little more professionally.
Right.
Maybe I'll look a little older.
So what advice would you give a young professional trying to navigate their way through the millennial stigma? Because I get it too.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think as much as possible, I mean, first of all, you can't control what other people think about you. that's just, it's hard to learn that the hard way.
Yes.
But it's very true. And so to some extent, you just kind of have to give it up. Give up worrying about what other people think of you. But you also have to make sure, you're not playing into the stereotypes of a millennial. And so, really valuing the opinions and the experience of your older coworkers. I don't know if it's just because I'm a history major, but I think it's really important to understand what came before, and
Absolutely.
to really understand context and how things came to be the way they are. It is really important. So I think, really asking those questions and learning from those who have more institutional knowledge than you is really important. And I think the other thing that, is a millennial stereotype, is that we move so fast and that we're just trying to go to the next thing. So as much as, you can kind of take a pause and realize that just because you're going a mile a minute doesn't mean everybody else is.
Right.
That can be helpful too. But ultimately,
it's funny.
People think what they will about you, and you just have to
Absolutely.
do the best you can.
It's funny you say that too, because in the office, just a little funny note for everyone on here. My coworkers call me a grandma because I'm the 80-year-old in the office. But I'm so opposite of that too. Sometimes, like you said, everyone thinks we're going a mile a minute, but I'm always the one that's like, pump the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about this for a second, which I know sometimes I think too much about things, but I'm totally like, okay, hold on. I'm not just going with this. I need to think about this for a little bit. And I know Kevin's on here and he's probably laughing right now because he knows I'm that person.
Because he's the one trying to push the brakes.
It's a good balance though. We're like a good yin and yang that,
it is.
He wants to go and I'm like, hold on. Let's think about this for a sec.
See, and you're in different roles. You've flipped the millennial stigma on its head. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the important thing, is to just be well thought out about it and find people that are a balance to you.
Absolutely. I definitely think, even being on our board, we have a good balance too, from different opinions and ideas and how long people have worked in the different organizations. For a nonprofit, that's huge. And I'm sure you experienced that too with Meals on Wheels and even with the food bank.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at the food bank, my team in the program department was multi-generational for sure. And that was always a really great balance of different ideas and different ways of viewing things.
Right.
And I think that's true here at Meals on Wheels too. We have a diverse ages and multi-generations, and it leads to, just a greater, more diverse tapestry of what ideas are and what,
absolutely, you never know it'll come from. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally. Kevin had a good question. He came in a little bit late. How has your work at the food bank prepared you for this role? I know you have helped me tremendously in mine. From
Kevin Cabral? Oh,
yes, he's commenting.
Oh, that's sweet. It's helped me a ton. I mean, having the whole background of the food insecurity landscape in Contra Costa has been hugely helpful.
Right.
And, understanding seniors' needs more than I would have had I not worked there, because, we had a couple programs for seniors, or at the food bank, they do have a couple programs for seniors. So doing that and working with those programs was hugely helpful for me for where I am now. And I think too, like I mentioned, the community partnerships, knowing who the players are, having relationships, having people's numbers that you could call them up, especially in a time of emergency like COVID, has been really, really helpful.
So from a nonprofit stance in general, what are some challenges that you see nonprofits are facing right now?
I think well, there's a lot of challenges, but I think one of the bigger ones is just kind of the unknown of what this is going to look like long term.
Right.
So we all know that the need has grown, not just among seniors, but among many populations. And we've been really lucky in Contra Costa that the community has really given a lot, you know, whether it's time or financial donations, they've been very supportive. It's just, we don't know as nonprofit leaders whether the whether the giving is going to keep pace with the need, and
Right.
how long the need is going to last, and how we are going to be able to respond, you know, on an ongoing basis. So I think it's really the unknown. It's really not knowing how long people are going to be suffering through this. And I think, you know, for seniors in our community, they're going to be the last to go back to normal. You know, just today, Contra Costa has put, you know, pulled back
Right.
its opening timeline, which is smart. I think it's very smart. We do not need another spike.
Right.
But I think, you know, even as it gets better and you and I feel comfortable going out and going to the grocery store and going to restaurants, it's going to be a long time before those who are in that high risk category and are, you know, 60 and older are going to feel comfortable doing that. So we really have to make sure that we can adapt our services long term.
Right.
And that's the hard part, because we did it all very quickly thinking that it would be a short-term thing, and now we're realizing that it's really not.
Well, and I'm sure what you thought the future of Meals on Wheels was a couple months ago versus what the future is now is completely different too.
Totally. Yeah. The challenges I thought I'd be facing versus
Right.
what we are dealing with are completely different. Completely different. You can only plan so much.
Absolutely.
So,
Coming from another nonprofit, we're a little bit different of a nonprofit, but I totally understand that.
yeah. Well, it's totally thrown you guys for a loop too. I mean, as it has everyone.
Right.
But I think that's where we have to kind of rethink everything for the long term. And, you know, it's going to be a long time before we're able to have in-person exercise classes, for instance.
Right.
You know, till we actually serve a meal in one of our cafes again. Like, we have to rethink how all of that's going to look in the future.
Well, plus now thinking about that too, you talking about the classes, you know, all of us millennials, we've been able to watch classes on YouTube and on Instagram Live, but my grandma doesn't have internet. If she
Yeah.
needs to exercise, now she's, well, not doing it, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But they don't have those services, so they might not know what to follow, and then they might fall off of that. Oh, I never thought about that too.
Totally. Well,
Technology plays into it.
yeah, absolutely. And part of it too, it's not just the health aspect, but it's also the social aspect, because
Absolutely.
so much of what the seniors we serve go to those exercise classes for is the exercise, but it's also the social interaction,
They
and
see their friends.
yeah. And so without that, it's really hard. And so we are looking at how we can help to bridge some of that, you know, that technological divide that we're seeing between the generations,
Right.
also between people of different income brackets. I mean, I know that, you know, my mom and dad are seniors, although they wouldn't like me to refer to them that way. But they both have great access to internet and
Right.
access to computers and all of that. But, you know, if you are on a very fixed income, if you're living on nothing but Social Security,
Right.
it's not like you have a ton of extra money to be spending on internet and
Right.
a
It's not a priority.
computer. And so we're really looking at how can we at Meals on Wheels Diablo Region, you know, get some resources to be able to help buy an inexpensive tablet,
Right.
and help our clients sign up for the, you know, low income $10 a month Comcast plan. and can we preload Zoom onto their tablet and then, you know, give them some instructions and teach them how to use it so we could do an online exercise class. And if there's social interaction that happens online, even better. So those are some of the kinds of things we're starting to think about and have been thinking about. Just have to figure out how to, you know, get some resources and make it happen.
So speaking of technology, you guys are actually really active on your social media. So what role does social media play for a senior service organization?
Yeah, we've been trying to step up our game. Not going to be as good as the chamber yet, but we're certainly getting there.
You guys definitely are.
Yeah, it plays a huge role because we know that that's how we communicate with our donors and our partners and our volunteers. And, you know, so many seniors are on social media, you know. Some of us wish we could get our parents off social media. Just kidding. But yeah, it is a way that, you know, seniors and people of all ages are connecting more and more with social media. And it's an important way for us to connect with our community. So we're definitely trying to step up our game and be on all the platforms. And it's definitely not what I'm in charge of. And that's why it's going well.
No, you guys are doing great. Did you know that you always wanted to be in the nonprofit world?
Not always. I mean, when I was really little, you know, I thought I wanted to be a marine biologist, just because I thought that was what the people were at Marine World who rode on dolphins. So, you know, but no, I did know from a very young age that I wanted to be in nonprofit work or something else that was involved with giving back. Both, you know, many people know that my dad was the longtime executive director for the food bank. So I had that as a role model, and my mom too. She was a teacher for many years, and then also went into nonprofit work as well with a environmental education nonprofit. So she, you know, I had two really amazing role models that showed me that, you know, if you're not spending your time giving back, then what's it really all worth? So I, from a very young age, knew that I wanted to do, you know, I wanted to spend my time hopefully making the world a little bit better. Yeah.
Kevin just asked, did your time in Mexico teaching English have an impact on that as well?
Yeah, it did. It definitely did. I mean, that was definitely my mom's side of me coming out and wanting to teach. But, you know, I've always felt very, very fortunate to have grown up in the Bay Area, to a middle-class family who, you know, it's not like we had everything, but we definitely had a lot to be grateful for. So I've always felt like there are others out there that need me to give back, and that, you know, I owe it. I owe it to the rest of my community, since I've been very lucky to give back. And yeah, Mexico did, you know, you see a different level of poverty in you know, internationally than you do in the US. And I think, you know, you really gain some perspective on how privileged you are when you travel. That's why I think traveling is so important.
I'm itching to travel right now, to be completely honest.
I know. I shouldn't have brought it up. I'm itching to travel too.
Well, like I said earlier, William just came back from vacation. Kevin's on vacation. He's still working right now on here. I'm like, it's my turn next. I need to go.
Yeah. Even if you can't go that far.
Exactly. Hey, I'll take a little 2-hour drive if I need to.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is Caitlin's last day as being our chair of the board, and it's been quite a year. She should have been our chair of the board coming in this year, but we had a little bit of a hiccup. person who was supposed to be chair last year unfortunately had to leave the chamber. So Caitlin graciously bumped up at a time when we were also having a president CEO retire. So she got moved up a year. She had to then help start hiring a new CEO. So it's been an interesting year for us.
It's been
Can you tell
very
us
interesting.
what your experience has been like?
It's been a great experience. It's been a really good learning experience for sure. And yeah, definitely a lot of unanticipated changes. I going in, I knew I was stepping up to do it in a year I wasn't planning on it, and I knew I was going to have the CEO search to take on. But I did not know that I'd be getting a new job.
Right.
I did not know that COVID would be happening.
Right.
So it's been interesting, but I think all the better for it. It's those kinds of challenges that teach you, if you can handle that, you can handle anything. So and it was, I thought it was going to be harder, but with you guys at the chamber staff, you are so solid and you all know what you're doing so well that I just had to show up where you told me to show up and smile when you told me to smile and say the words you told me to say for the most part. Except when I messed it up.
That's okay. That's okay. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah,
so what type of things as chair, I'll let you explain it. What type of things did you do as chair?
So as chair, the most important things are running the board meetings, going to the ribbon cuttings, helping to, in addition to the CEO kind of and the staff helping to be the face of the chamber. But, in a time of transition, there was a lot more. I was lucky to have a good committee that worked on the search for the new CEO, and we found Kevin, and Kevin was great, and so that was really easy. But we also re-looked at how does the chamber do advocacy, and is that something that we should have a policy around on? We will advocate for these kinds of things, and we won't advocate for other kinds of things. And really wanting to have that, in writing so that you guys as staff didn't have to come to the board with everything that people were requesting, because people do request the chamber to weigh in on pretty much everything. So you have to be careful, because we're speaking for the membership, and we want to make sure that we're doing a good job of that. So really making sure that we continue to be good stewards of the membership, and that we're representing them well. We, as chair, you also run the yearly board retreat, where you kind of look at what the next year is going to be like. And so we amended the bylaws, cleaned some things up because they were a little confusing and hard to remember. Something Marilyn struggled with, I know.
We read every single time.
I don't know how she remembered all that stuff. It's pretty impressive. But, those were the kinds of things we just took an opportunity to get it all kind of cleaned up and written down and on paper, so we all knew we were on the same page and headed in the same direction.
We got a lot done in your year. We really
did. We did. We really did. It was a lot more than we had planned on.
Yes. I think. It's been a good year though. So you've been on the board, I think, since it's been 2016. I think it's been 4 years.
That sounds right.
So why do you think it's important for young professionals to sit on boards and get involved?
It's really important. And you're lucky if you get to do it, because there's not always a ton of opportunities out there. But it's really important because I think you learn a lot of skills that you wouldn't learn just in your own work environment, especially for folks who have never been part of a nonprofit. It's a good way to get a little bit of a taste of a nonprofit by sitting on a board. And you really learn a lot from other professionals in your area, people that you never would have met otherwise. And you never, working in a nonprofit, you really meet other people at nonprofits, and funders and donors, but you don't necessarily do a lot of meeting other business people. And so that's where being on the chamber board has really been a great learning experience for me, because you're getting to meet other people that you wouldn't have normally met, and you're getting to work on concrete things with them. It's not necessarily just meeting them at a mixer. And meeting people at mixers is great, but you also get to, dig into something meaty and weigh in and have opinions on things. And you're pushed sometimes. Like, I would go into a board meeting thinking I had an opinion on something, and then you come out a little swayed by people having good arguments. So you learn a lot.
Too, for us, Dan Torres, he said, yes, I agree, younger people need to step up. But for us, I mean, when I first started, to be perfectly honest, I didn't understand what a chamber was. And chambers of commerce are a very old type of organization, a great organization to be a part of. Like Caitlin said, you really do get to meet people and create those relationships. And like she said, because of people she's met, she's been able to lean on them during this time. So even to help get the younger generations involved in the chamber and in the business community in general, it will help shift how our organization runs and become more modern and stay up to date on how we can help businesses. Thinking about running social media classes to get a little bit deeper, or whatever it may be, that we need that younger generation to help keep us alive as well. But also to create a community. Pedro last week was saying, he's really fortunate, he believes, to work in Concord, where young professionals can come work and live here and work here, and has created that business community. So I think it's a huge help to us, especially having a younger staff too. Some chambers, not to knock any of them, don't have a younger staff. So to have a younger generation in there, it really does help.
Absolutely. And I think too, I was lucky that the Concord Chamber is one that, would take a chance on a young professional who didn't necessarily have years and years and years of experience at a bunch of different companies or a bunch of different businesses, but was willing to, but still valued my opinion. And so Marilyn really took a chance on me in that way. And I think that's what we have to do to get the next generation involved.
Absolutely. And just for everyone out there too, you don't have to sit on our board if you wanted to become involved too. We have an ambassador program that if you want to get a little bit more involved and get to know the membership, it's a great way to get involved, get to know the chamber a little bit better. But also, I always call the ambassadors the face of the chamber. I see Johanna's on here. She's been an ambassador. They're the ones out there helping us, because we're a staff of 3.5, and we can't contact all of our members in a month. So really, we rely on the board and the ambassadors to help us create those connections as well.
Yeah, the ambassadors are invaluable. They help so much. They're the volunteers that make it happen, because you guys would need 10 more staff if you tried to replace them.
But we're also very lucky, like you said, too, with your organization, to have volunteers that are so great and so dedicated to helping us, but also to growing their business, too. It's important for their businesses as well. Like you said, you never know who you'll meet and who you'll need to rely on.
Yeah, we all get something. I mean, that's the beauty of at least the Concord Chamber, because that's the one I have the most experience with, is that everybody gets out of it what they put in. You can make it what you want, and you can, go to First Friday Coffee, or go to the mixers, or serve on an event committee, or, be an ambassador. And there's so many ways to get involved, and you can really make it what you want. And you know, it's mutually beneficial. You may not see it right away. It may not be like an instant gratification, but there's definitely, you know, I would never have known that knowing Mayor McGallion would help me out in a pandemic.
Right.
That would never have been something I'd predict, but I'm glad it
She's
happened.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're in a new role.
Yep.
What do you hope to achieve professionally as your life goes on?
As my life goes on, oh my gosh, I can barely think 6 months from now.
You're like, let me just get through right now.
Yeah. No, there's so much I want to do here at Meals on Wheels Diablo Region. I think that we're an organization that is uniquely poised to be able to respond to the needs of seniors, which is our fastest growing population. And I think, you know, I mean, it's apparent in the governor saying that we need to have a master plan on aging. It's really important that we take care of our, you know, our parents and our grandparents and those who have given us so much. And we do have a tendency to forget about them or to, you know, not provide for them in the way that I think they deserve. And so I think I'm really excited to look at what Meals on Wheels Diablo Region can do in the next coming years, to be able to grow services, expand, and really be there for what the community needs, because it's really, the population is only going to grow in California and in Contra Costa for people who are over the age of 60. And as their needs change, too, and as older folks get more computer literate and tech savvy, and you know, how do we need to adapt to their needs? So it's all really exciting.
No, I appreciate everything that you guys do. My grandmother's 87, and my mom has really stepped up in the past year to help her out too. But like all the services you were saying is definitely things that like my grandmother would need, or like Denise said, her aunt was utilizing as well. That, you know, it's nice to know that our seniors are being taken care of. We're fortunate enough that my family is so close to be able to help my grandmother. But if we all lived out of state, what would we have done?
Totally. I mean, during COVID, well, we're still in COVID, but just through the Concord program, we were getting contacted by people that lived in London and had a family member here, and we're checking in, you know, is my mom getting the meal? Is everything okay? You know, so it really is, we think of our services as services for seniors, but so much of it is a service for the family too, because it's a lot to have your own full-time job. If you have kids, taking care of kids, taking care of yourself, everybody else in your life, your friends. And then if you're trying to care for an aging loved one, that becomes its own, you know, stress and burden. And no older person should be made to feel like a burden. And no younger person caring for them should feel like they're alone in that. So I think that's what we hope to achieve, is being able to, you know, help families feel like somebody else can help them, and that their loved ones are taken care of. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. I didn't even think about, if you live internationally, you know, you're worried about your loved one anyway, much less in a pandemic. So
wow, London.
Got to be stressful.
So before we wrap up, if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. Kevin had asked, how long has Meals on Wheels been around?
52 years.
Wow.
Yeah. We've had a few different names. Because Meals on Wheel, it was Senior Outreach Services and Meals on Wheels Senior Outreach Services, but now we're Meals on Wheels Diablo Region. And yeah, we've been serving the community for over 50 years. So it's pretty impressive. It's some deep roots in the community. and we're really lucky that our community supports that.
Absolutely. That's the one thing I feel about our little region right here too is, you know, in the chamber alone, we have over 50 nonprofits represented, and that's not even everyone. So it's good to know that our communities are willing to volunteer and willing to give back and want to help our loved ones and really everyone out there, that we have that support. So it's awesome what you guys do, you know, food bank, going over to Meals on Wheels, and everything in between that you especially personally have helped.
Yeah, we're really lucky. I mean, Contra Costa is a very giving community. It's a community that really cares about their neighbors. And so we're really lucky to benefit from that, and to, you know, it's a community that really wants to make sure that those that are less fortunate are taken care of. So
Right.
we're very grateful to just be able to match people who want to help with people that need help. So, and we learn a lot in the process.
Well, and like you said too, everything's ever changing with how just more technology is implemented and how the economies have shifted and how everything just has to shift with that too. Or that your special community is growing just because of the age range too.
Yep. Yeah.
So just another little story. My cousin lives in Guam and her mom is here. So that's true. You help us worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah. Meals on Wheels is a worldwide organization. It actually started in England.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, it exists all throughout the world. So because there's seniors in need everywhere.
Very true. Well, thank you again, Caitlin, for joining us.
Thanks for having
I've
me.
thoroughly enjoyed working with you this year. You're still going to be on our board, but
Of
I appreciate
course.
everything that you've done for us and leading us through all of this. We couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, I have loved every minute of it. You guys are the best, and you hold it all together, Melissa. So
Thanks.
it's been great. It's been really, really fun, and I've learned a lot, and I've definitely gotten as much, if not more, out of it than I've given. So it's been
Well, thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Melissa.
So guys, next week we're going to take a break. It's the holiday weekend, so we will not have a Monday margarita next week. Everyone enjoy your Mondays. But if you guys have any other organizations that you would like to hear of, especially here in Concord, reach out and message us. Let us know who you guys want to hear from. I want to be able to bring some information to you so you can learn more about them as well. So go ahead and message us. Have a very fun and safe 4th of July, socially distancing, of course, so be safe out there. But I hope everyone also tunes in to the Concord Parade. We will have a little video in it. I will be releasing some behind the scenes on 4th of July, so be on the lookout for that. But everyone have a good and safe week, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye, Caitlin.